That's the other big team fight hero, but I don't know if you want to go that against a Void and a Rubik. You can steal the Black Hole, you have plenty of spells to cancel, even stuff like Cold Snap will require BKB, and then you can still get Chronoed anyway, so... Yeah, this might be one of those rare Chinese Dota games where Enigma's ignored. He's also been on the rise. IG has picked him in the first two before. We saw EG at the Summit was first overall picking Enigma, and I think this is one of those games where we just won't see him.
It could be, but on the other, yeah, it's mainly the Rubik for me that makes me think that DK won't get it, because as far as the lineup goes for IG, they don't really have good aggressive potential early on. It is a very defensive lineup. When you're playing Rubik as your one support together with Void, you have no aggressive tri-lane presence at all, so DK could easily choose to run a greedy jungler if they want, like Enigma. It could work, but with Rubik on the other side and with great teamfight for IG already, maybe DK looked towards something else, like an earlier impact jungler. You could get the Chen, which I don't know. It's been a while since DK played that, hasn't it?
Yeah, they haven't run Chen. And actually, none of the Chinese teams really run him. If they go for a jungler, it's Enigma or Enchantress, or the big two.
Yeah, and they banned Enchantress, so that makes me think they're well, they're not getting that one. But
it's actually DK who banned out the Enigma here, so it looks like they want to play greedy and they do not want to be punished for it.
I think Chen could really work in this game, but if it's a hero DK don't really pick, then that's all right, because the thing is, in this game, when you have a lineup with Luna early on, the kind of pushing power you can get out of that with 4 ranged heroes as well, it's very easy to siege the tower without exposing yourself too much. And then when IG are running in with this kind of teamfight composition that deals a lot of damage, a mech and Hand of God can keep your team alive and actually turn it around on IG. So I would say Chen would be a logical pick for other teams, but like you're saying, the Chinese scene is not really picked that much. So the question is what DK want to do. OD is probably going mid. If Shadow Demon and Mirana is the support duo, they could still be getting an offlaner here for Ice Ice Ice. Elder Titan is banned. Do we look towards something like a Timbersaw, which he generally doesn't play, which I also think would be great in this game, to be honest? Or what do you think?
Haven't seen his Timbersaw in a while, actually. Outside of that, there is...
Clockwork?
We see Darkseer occasionally, just to go with the OD. I don't know how he'll match up against this Rubik Void necessarily, but... He's been playing a lot of Doom. That obviously is banned. No surprises there. Once in a while, we see the Nature's Prophet. Sometimes, if they get Invoker, he takes that. I'm trying to think what else there is. He's almost always on a very heavy crowd control team fight type hero. We don't really see like the old Ice 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 offlane lone druid or Nature's Prophet nowadays.
It's really it isn't really the best Clockwork game because there's a Rubik, and going against a Void in general with Clock, you hook in and then you just get turned on. He can jump into the cogs and kill you pretty much. So I don't know what DK are thinking here, but assuming that they don't want to run an aggressive tri-lane, which I actually think they could. I would love to see them do that, because IG's tri-lane is really not that good, and they might not even be running one. And if you run a Mirana, Shadow Demon, Luna into that, you're going to crush that Void. So maybe that's the plan for DK, and they play a safe lane for Ice Ice Ice. Also opens up the pool a bit more for what kinds of heroes he could play here, but alternatively, the best offlaner I can think of, like you said, is probably Darkseer in this game. Might be the best choice.
There's also, I guess there's also Nyx, but I feel like IG actually match up well against him. Lift is really good against him, and if you just chrono him before Carapaces or once Void gets a BKB, like the heroes, they don't really have that heavy of a lineup. I guess good against Prophet, so Nyx, Darkseer, I guess are the 2 main ones I'm looking at, but they'll go Beastmaster.
Ooh,
all right.
Love this. Yeah, this is really, really smart, actually. So the reason I gave for why Chen would have been a good pick if they were running it that way around, Beastmaster can kind of do the same thing. Of course, he doesn't have AoE heals, right? But he's a good pusher. Has great synergy with Luna and Shadow Demon. Of course, you can make the Luna illusions with the Shadow Demon, and you have great attack speed and pushing power in general with the Inner Beast aura. And then they have a single target lockdown for Void, which I think they were actually lacking. So this solves a couple of problems that DK had in their lineup. Void is just such a scary hero when you don't control him, but when you do, he's kind of in many games, kind of an underwhelming carry if you manage to lock him down. And in this game, when you have Soul Catcher and Roar, and the pure damage of OD, if he gets caught, there's really not much on his team to save him if you look at the lineup of IG. No really good defensive supports, like they don't have a Disruption, they don't have the Nether Swap or something like that from Venge, so they're going to have to rely on Void actually getting really farmed. And are you surprised to see Ferrari playing in this game? That was not what I was thinking.
Yeah, a little bit. Luo does play Invoker. I think I mentioned that earlier, but Normally, it's more in the context of, like, they want to give 430 something else for mid. And he doesn't generally go safe lane. And I wonder if we're going to see the Void mid. Maybe the thought here is, hey, Void's got really good base damage. Who cares if the OD keeps on astraling him? His spells aren't that useful anyway, and Invoker's going to get trashed in a 1v1. So I think IG just look at it like, Mushi's OD is just going to crush an Invoker. We need to change up the lanes a bit here. But let's see if they get the matchup they're looking for.
Yeah, because it could easily be DK just trying to one-up them here by tricking them with the lanes. If they're expecting this kind of lane from IG mid, they could put their own dual lane, or maybe even run a full roaming Shadow Demon Mirana and really lock down the mid. We're going to see what they do. Anyway, let's... Oh, we have a pause. That gives us great time to introduce the teams, I guess. Who's your favorite?
That's
Who do you want to introduce?
That's some optimism there, Synderen. I like the way you think.
All right, I'll go with DK. You didn't mention anyone, so let's see. We've got Mushi playing as Outworld Devourer, Outhouse Decorator, whatever you want to call it. MMY will be playing as the Mirana, Lanham on the Shadow Demon, Ice 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 on Beastmaster, and then finally, who am I missing? I'm missing Burning on the Luna.
By the way, not sure if you heard, but MMY is the latest 1v1 champion to come out of China. Yeah, they Ice 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 and 430, I believe, dodged the tournament. Supposedly FY forfeited, so the title might not be quite as impressive as it sounds on paper. But he won. He won the 1v1 tournament, the latest one in China. So congrats to him.
So did he have any opponents, or were those three
No,
his opponents?
he got 8 forfeits to take the event. I actually didn't get to watch, but I just saw today that he won the title. So there was an Axe versus Axe game, very high skill cap 1v1. There's an illusion rune in that, from what I saw as well, which obviously makes things very fair and balanced. But all right, well, I'll introduce IG now with that out of the way. Chuan on the offlane, or the support Rubik Faith on the support Lich. We've got Luo playing the offlane Invoker. They'll put the Void mid, and that'll be even 430's capable hands, and that leaves YYF as the safe lane Nature's Prophet. And you mentioned maybe an aggressive tri-lane Synd, and well, that's what we're gonna see. And in fact, it's a Luna tri-lane, so any disruption arrow combo is pretty much a first blood here.
And already good defensive ward here placed by IG in the top lane. It's going to see MMY as well as Lanham getting in position, so YYF will know what's coming here and will probably play it very safe here, as Lanham's actually trying to cut through the trees, but he only has one tango left. He actually can't get in there. And YYF will play this smart. I think just right from the get-go here, this laning from IG is serving its purpose. They're going to get good farm on the Invoker in the bot lane. Prophet is one of the heroes you can sacrifice a little bit in the beginning, and they're going to win mid as well against the OD, so this is a good start for IG.
The other thing is with the Shadow Demon Mirana here, it's a very scary killing combo, but YYF just keeps on scouting them with Treants, so it's kind of tricky to sneak up on him. If they want to go for him, they might need a smoke, and, you know, if he doesn't see the supports, he's just hiding in his tower. So, yeah, I think these lanes are looking quite solid for IG on paper, but Shadow Demon Mirana can always change that, and already, MMY let him. They say, you know what? Let's go help our brother Mushi mid.
Yeah, if you're running an OD mid against a dual lane, you... Actually, he's doing pretty well. He's 5-1 and Void is 3-2. So Mushi has been getting the first few CS that he sometimes wouldn't be getting against this kind of dual lane. So he's doing okay, but when you pick OD for mid, you generally pick it to win the lane. It's a pretty bad hero at playing from behind. So either he needs to be doing very well on his own, or he's going to need these rotations from DK. But this might be a really smart play from DK, speaking of which, because with these two supports missing, I think IG are expecting the gank to be coming mid. You see Faith is standing very, very far back at his tower because he knows he is exposed here, and they might just be going for the bottom lane instead. Just being missing right now makes it very, very hard for IG to play two of their lanes.
Yeah, and they're smoked now, so 2 heroes potentially keeping 3 back. The Void's not so worried about getting killed, but the other 3 have to be very careful. And man, Chuan and Luo are just... They're hugging the tower right now. Luo's body blocking, and he just won't leave it. They're not going to give up this kill to DK, but as I say that, Luo does. He inches forward a bit. No, looks like he's not going to get caught.
This could give him a false feeling of safety, actually, sending out this Forge Spirit, since it, of course, doesn't break the smoke, but he's not falling for it. Very solid play here from Luo to not get caught here. It's so damn important when you're playing against a dual support roam in the beginning like DK has. If they do not get kills, they just fall behind so hard. You can see they're both level 1 with like 40 experience. The supports on IG, Lich is level 3. Rubik is also only level 1. He's currently guarding mid, but he's got more experience than Mirana and Shadow Demon combined, at least.
Yeah, IG really, they smelled that one out perfectly. And as soon as they, like, not only were they playing defensively in those 2 lanes, but YYF got aggressive. entered the lane, moved way out from the tower, and if the Shadow Demon Mirana were actually there, that's the first blood. But they weren't, and he just they knew what was coming. Sitting there, they're one step ahead of DK so far in terms of the early movements. That being said, though, DK's Tricore are all farming very well. The Luna's free farming.
I was about to say.
Beastmaster and OD both farming well.
We're giving IG a lot of praise here for their awareness and how they put their lanes, but DK are pulling really far ahead on farm. Burning is doing a great job in the top lane with 23 CS against the 7 of Prophet. And like you said, Beastmaster, of course, has a very easy time in the bot lane. And as long as OD does not really fall behind and the 2 other cores are getting this much farm, I think it's looking fine for DK. But we need to get, again, we need to be a little bit careful with just judging from the CS because it's so much to do with how much the supports are getting. And it's all great that DK's cores are getting this much, and it's looking good on the golden experience graphs, but can their supports carry into the mid game if they don't find kills is the question.
Well, both teams going Invis now here. Chuan smoked up, I believe, was spotted out by this Radiant Observer Ward, and also an Invisor and picked up by MMY, likewise under a Dire Observer Ward. So I doubt we'll see any kills off of these 2 Invises, but you never know. Both teams making their moves for the time being, and I'm curious to see how the laning stage develops a bit further. We see Ice getting a fast level 6. Imagine he may go for some ganks with his ultimate. Burning hasn't bought anything just yet. Could be saving for the Hand of Midas if he feels he can get away with it, but hold that thought. Mid lane, they don't have the hammer yet, so just harassing 430.
When you have 6 armor and a 4-man shield, you could barely even see them dealing damage to him. It's kind of insane.
That hair's so tanky. And this is before Frost Armor comes out, but at some point he's going to get it. And then 430 is going to be... That's where you really need the pure damage of OD, just to chew through him.
Yeah, the funny thing is, right now when you look at Ferrari, you're expecting, okay, he's actually really tanky in the lane. When we get further into the game, he's going to be hard to bring down. But the kit that DK has on their side with Soul Catcher, of course, if Lanham ever reaches level 2, he will maybe get that. And
it's 5 minutes in. He's really struggling.
Soul Catcher and Primal Roar and then all the pure damage, they're going to make quick work of the Void. But we're going to see when we get to that stage of the game, of course. But again, so far, DK good farm. And they're trying again. Is this the second or the third smoke? I think it's the second one. Here we go, mid.
They're going for the Void. The arrow let loose will connect on 430. They don't have the OD ult yet. Time Walk not available. He doesn't have the mana pool for it. Only 50 mana, but the backtracks are pretty good. They Astral him again. Burning's committed to this as well. It's a quad lane mid. And it's enough for a first blood on 430. They even have an Eclipse. They have Eclipse, but they're going to lose 1. They will lose 2. Sunstrike's going to make it 3. No, Mushi barely surviving, but MMY may go down here. One more right click will secure the kill. The quad lane mid gets punished in spades. YYF turns it around, and, well, was it worth it, Synd? I think not.
Look at the bright side of things for DK. Shadow Demon did get level 2, so... But they did have to give up 3 kills for it.
Oh my. Yeah, that was almost 4. Mushi barely lived there.
That was just perfect timing. The Prophet ult came up at the right time. He poured it in to get vision for the guy he missed with the ult. So he ended up getting it on like the last bounce and did so good damage there. And when you rotate your carry as well, like DK did there, Burning went into mid and he also got killed. It's not just a 3-for-1, it's a 3-for-1 where you also lose a lot of farming time on the Luna. Beastmaster got a lot out of it, of course, but yeah, I think Ice has to be active very early on here in order to secure DK to get into the mid game well. And
it looks like he wants to.
Started out with face boost. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know. Just looking to be more aggressive in his ganks. I guess it does help you close the gap. It's maybe like a fill-in for the Blink Dagger in some ways. They don't have any sort of mana pool. Like they don't have an Arcane Aura from or Crystal Maiden or Arcane Boots built yet, so. It is going to tax the Beastmaster's mana pool a little bit. Like, you can't spam your axes here, and I guess the main thing is it'll give him a little more solo-killing punch if he does find a Roar target. What do you think?
I am really not sure. To me, this Face Boots build is very unusual. I think the main reason Ice is getting it is as a gap closer, so he just reaches the Roar. I think that's the main point, but then again, if you wanted that, you could get a Blink Dagger, which is, of course, a lot more expensive, but... The other point could just be it allows him to farm safer on the lane as well. Better escape potential and, of course, much more damage if the Invoker was ever to be a threat, but doesn't look like it.
Uh-oh. This is bad. They have Chrono and Chain Frost, and they're going top, and they're going to fight DK as well. 6. They're both level 6. Oh, no. Oh, no. DK, don't get caught. The smoke will be revealed. It's actually in a pretty good position, although Burning will be isolated in the Chronosphere. They can throw out a Chain Frost to secure this kill, and they will do so. No chance to react. Then Faith gets roared. Ice was ready for this. Comes in, tries to turn on Faith. He needs one more right click to finish him off. The Lich will fall. The trade is the Shadow Demon. And now Ice may well be next. Are we going to get a bash? Time Walk, slowing him down. The phase, help keep him moving away. No bash for 430. If they get it.
Immediate value of those phase boots right there.
Without those, he dies, and with a bash, he also dies. But...
And he also wouldn't have got the kill on Lich, actually. He was able to catch up because of the phase 2, so...
It's tricky to get aggressive like that. Like, when DK try to go back in, there's just so much counter gank. There's the Nature's Prophet, the Sunstrike, and I really like the way IG are playing this. Just constantly forcing fights with the Chronosphere, and well, an arrow connects on 430, but this Void he's just too tanky. The hero is very difficult to bring down.
And he's got an interesting skill build. Generally, you see Voids prioritize one or the other skill, but he's actually going for the 2-2-2 build, where he has a little bit of everything. Most Voids will get the second point in Time Walk, just because it really makes a big difference to have that extra 200 range. Of course, it scales like that all the way, but it's the second point that's generally the most important one. And then you often see them either maxing Backtrack or maxing the Time Lock, but he's going for a little bit of a hybrid build here. I guess he's assuming that he has enough tankability with 2 points, and then he can get an extra point in Time Lock for more killing potential.
Yeah, this is the I don't really know what I want build. No, I'm sure 430 has its reasons. It's one of those things where it's like maybe you start off with the
bottom lane.
Burning. And a YYF, couldn't they get the kill? No. Just able to make his way on time. I guess Lucimian was just cooling down there.
Yeah, he could have tried for the Eclipse, actually, but I guess he didn't want to go for the gamble. There were like 3 or 4 creeps around, and if he doesn't hit, it's basically an ultimate wasted, so...
And that's like their whole team fight, I feel. Meanwhile, mid lane, Mushi gets caught out. Nature's Prophet will eviscerate him. Although there's a rotation from DK. They're looking for the wraparound here, but not sure if they're going to catch IG off guard. In fact, they're already heading south, so it seems IG no. Now they do.
Oh, wow.
There's a Hawk moving around as well, but the Treants have spoiled the fun for DK. Tough game for DK. In spite of that, they technically are up on gold here. It looks really bad, though.
Yeah, the thing is, being up on gold is not the most important thing right now. I'm going to keep coming back to the supports, because it's fine that your cores are doing all right, but if you have a 2 level 3 supports at 11 minutes in the game, which is the case for DK right now, against a level 8 Lich and level 6 Rubik, you're just not going to win the team fights. I think all the gold on the cores doesn't really matter if they just get singled out, because IG can see, okay, DK supports are really not a threat. We just go and gank Mushi, or we insta-kill Burning, and then the fight's just so heavily in their favor that even if DK play it well, I don't think they have the tools they need right now.
Yeah, they were completely shut down on those early roams. They went for, I don't know, like 4 or 5 minutes worth of ganking before they got first blood, and even then it was a 3-for-1. And almost a 4-for-1, so barely worth it at that. But, yeah, we'll see. Ice going for more of, like, your carry Beastmaster. Gets the Necro Book picked up along with the Phase Boots. The OD is actually rushing a mech. Generally, Mushi goes 4-staff first, or occasionally Midas. But I'd say 4-staff like 80% of the time. And, well, this game, he's going mech, so they're looking to the Beastmaster to split push a bit and be more of a team, more of just like a damage dealer in these team fights.
Yeah, that's a little bit surprising to me. I generally consider Beastmaster one of the really good mech carriers. Nice arrow here on YYF, but I don't think they can commit to that. He is a good mech carrier because Beastmaster is all about landing that crucial roar and the axes, and then the rest of your mana pool is basically excess, right? You can easily run a mech on this hero and get great value out of it. And maybe the logic here is that it's not that they want Beastmaster to deal damage, it's that they want Mushi to survive. That might be the reasoning here, that he needs the mech so he can actually commit in fights. If he gets the Force Staff and he gets caught out, he's still just gonna die really quickly. And of course, Force Staff is really not that good against Chronosphere.
Yeah, and the combo of getting Necrobook and mech makes your push stronger, whereas a Force Staff doesn't really help you there as much. So we'll see if that's the goal for DK. Their 5-man's not terrible, but you do have to worry about grouping up against IG. That's where the Chronosphere and eventually the value point in Wex for Invoker can really punish you. We haven't really seen IG's full potential yet, I feel like. We haven't seen a Chain Frost Chronosphere that's caught multiple heroes. We haven't seen a meatball over the top from the Invoker, or the Nature's Prophet ult used in combination with all of that. So I am worried for DK. They're itemizing like they want a 5-man and take towers, and I just don't know if they can do that against IG. If IG get the right opening, they'll just team wipe them, and you could see DK they don't want to go for a 5v5 clash. They have these items to push, but they want to smoke and find the pickoffs first. The Hawk is in position, scouting the lane, but IG are, once again, dodging bullets and just not getting caught.
Do they actually have any smokes left? I think they used all their smokes already. Let me check. Yeah, they did.
Any on the courier? There may be... Oh, that was their last one, yeah.
That was the last one, so they don't have a smoke for 10 minutes. So they managed to use 3 smokes and get 2 kills out of it that got 6 of them killed in total. That's really bad value.
Yes, that is some hashtag not value. Man, it happens occasionally where you're like, okay, they're out of smokes now, and it's like, 3-4 minutes with no smokes. That's kind of unfortunate, but to be 10 minutes without smoke, it's just, they don't have the other thing is they don't have Moonlight Shadow, which can be like a decent substitute for the smoke in some ways, but yeah, they have neither. He's like, I'm talking about Moonlight Shadow. This is very ambitious for MMY right now. He just wants to level up his arrow a bit more if he can.
Maybe if they would be happy to swap ultimates between Luna and Mirana right now and just be like, can we trade? Can we get Moonlight Shadow and Luna for a bit? I mean, kind of similar in lore. I guess it could work, but
yeah, whatever it takes, you know. Burning is also, I mean, he's not particularly big. He's only level 9. It did go for the early Midas, and even though for now DK are slightly farming better, IG are going for some Midases, and Luo's almost picked his up. We see the Nature's Prophet, YYF has had his for some time, and even though they hold a slight farm lead on their cores, I don't even think they'll maintain that for too long because of these items. No Midas on Mushi either, and again, sometimes we do see him rush it on the OD.
Well, there is his mech, so perhaps the mech advantage, there is none on the Dire right now, right? No. So they do have the mech advantage, and because of that, they might be able to take team fights, but I think IG are just fine with this. They're going to trade one tier 1 tower top for both the tier 1 mid and the tier 1 bottom here. This is a great trade for IG once again. Void even getting the last hit on mid, and Prophet getting the bottom one. This couldn't have gone better for them. This is absolutely perfect.
Do they defend on top of this? It doesn't look like it. They popped the Nature's Prophet ult, so I thought for a second maybe the Void goes in top, but yeah, 2 for 1, already good. Why risk your lead when you've, at least strategically, why risk your lead, even if the gold experience are close for now? And well,
triple Midas.
Yeah, this is so much pressure on DK now. You've gone for mid-game items, great. Now use them, because if you don't, 5-10 minutes from now, we're gonna take this game over. That's pretty much what IG are doing. They're serving notice here, and the pressure's on DK. Synd, can they rise to the challenge?
I would give them a much bigger chance of coming back in this game if they had smokes. It's kind of crazy how good IG have been at dodging these ganks, and now it's just going to be almost too easy, right? When they know Moonlight Shadow's not available, and if they've been keeping track, they would know there's no smokes either. They just need to ward their lanes, and then they can farm. There's absolutely no risk involved.
And right, they've already done that. They have a lane more top, they have one sitting near the mid lane, and they've got one in the enemy jungle. So they've done exactly what you said.
This is just very, very textbook play from IG. I can't really put a finger on their play so far, apart from the fact that they're getting out-farmed, but they're going to easily catch up to that with the Midases now. The CS is not of that much importance here. It's more about how they constructed the entire early game for themselves, and it's just paying off so hard right now. I mean, even the Lich on the Dire side almost has a 15-minute mech, which is about the time OD got his, so this is looking really good for Faith.
And DK are definitely feeling like they need to get more done. They group up mid. They've got a level 1 Necro book, the level 2 recipe. I thought I saw a recipe on the card. Maybe that was the level 1 recipe. But they're going to push in mid now, and they may take a tier 1 here mid. And at the same time, IG, once again, it's a trade. They'll push top. They'll take that. And if DK try to go for a tier 2, I imagine we'll see a defense. They have the Chronosphere to set things up. They're not really going to get a trade at this point, so they either forfeit the tier 2 mid, or they fight.
The heavy artillery here from Ice standing here, doing good damage to the tower. Now everything's going to get frozen. But they're doing really good damage, actually. IG are a little bit slow on coming back to defend here. Did they not have TPs ready is the question, or are they just going to give it away?
I guess they might sack it. Oh, they've stolen the arrow. It's going to connect on the Hawk. Nailed that Hawk.
Top tower is under attack.
Well, easy money.
That's illegal in at least a few states. Hawks are an endangered species. No, not really. Oh, DK are gonna back off.
I don't know how to transition from that.
No, there's nothing.
I've got nothing.
That's fine, man. Sometimes you just have to watch your co-caster flail around and let the world burn a bit. We'll see DK back off, though. They don't take the tier 2 in the end. The one thing that IG do have going for them as well when they're making these trades is they have ice armor for building. So arrow comes out, MMY. Narrowly dodging that one. But, yeah, they have the ice armor to slow down the push. I think without that, DK just cleanly take the tower and get out.
And now with this lineup from IG, with the mech on the Lich, with the ice armor, with Forge Spirits level, with 4 levels in Quas and Exhort, and with the Prophet Trance, there's so many ways IG can take Roche. It doesn't have to be all 5 of them at all. They have many combinations of like 3 or 4 heroes that can do it, so while they split push, okay, where did that happen? He actually just got a free kill down here with Sunstrike. So Forge Spirit did some good damage. And
they didn't even use the Nature's Prophet ult. He just got sniped. Huh.
Too easy for Luo.
He was at full HP when that arrow missed him. The Forge Spirit must have really run him down. Welp. That's unfortunate. Good news is, he respawns really quickly here, so he's already back for the fight.
Yay!
IG are smoked up.
Just wanted to bait the Sunstrike, right?
They're ready
Too
now.
bad that's also not on cooldown anymore.
Yeah, they're gonna go in bottom here, it looks like. They've got the arrow available. 430 leaps in, only Chrono burning. Now he can be roared inside of the snow. They'll roar Faith instead, preventing the Chain Frost. 430, unable to find that initial kill. Lich standing strong for the time being. The roar was stolen. It gets tossed back the other way into Mushi. Then the Eclipse comes through from burning. Chain Frost now begins to bounce, but very poorly at that. Only catching the boars, the Necro minions, the creeps. Nothing as far as heroes go. 430 will leap away, and in the end, earn charge, not enough. Arrow, arrow. Ooh, 430. Good reactions there. We'll get out safely. And after all that, a 1-for-1, but IG take the tier 2 top.
Yeah, YYF decided not to show up at all. I'm a little bit surprised because that fight I think could have maybe gone IG's way a little more than it did. He got the tier 2, but I think it's going to be at the cost of their own tier 2 bottom here. So DK are making it work with what they have. It's the disruption there on Luna just completely saved the fight. So big play from Lanham here, else they would have been completely crushed. It made them they used the Chrono on one target and the arrow, and that target didn't die. That's huge.
I really like the play by Ice as well, because he didn't roar the Void, which is like, oh yeah, Void Chronoed somebody, you should roar him, but as we see a Sunstrike on the Birdie, just simple harassment. But he roared the Lich instead. Just that means the Lich can't use both of his nukes, and I think with that burst damage, maybe they get that kill. So heads up play from Ice along with the Shadow Demon. They keep him alive, and that, like you said, starts the fight. There's already an Orchid up a YYF. We're only 19 minutes in, and he went for the Midas early. 430 will finish off the kill, and well, he was getting a little too big for his britches, I imagine. Tower will be
a little bit unhappy there. He had 25% chance of not taking damage from the Necro Book, but
them's the breaks. Still a lot of gold, though.
He's gonna have an Ag soon, by the way. It's looking really good for IG. We keep saying that, and even though it's not the biggest lead in the world, it's 5,000 experience and 4,000 gold. You just have the feeling that when this transitions into the later portions of the game, I don't think DK have the power to take the fights until Burning starts becoming almost unstoppable. Because Void is just such a great anti-carry. He can immediately jump in on the Luna and make quick work of her, or he takes out the Shadow Demon. But then again, you could also turn it around and say DK have so good counter-initiation with Disruption and Roar and Astral that when you think about it, who can't they keep alive?
Yeah, I guess the X Factor as well as Chuan. We saw him steal Roar last fight. If he starts stealing spells like Roar in the late game team fights, I think that no matter how big DK get, they will be burst down. Like even if Birdie gets 4 or 5 slotted, you throw a Chrono on him, potentially a Hex from the Invoker, who's not quite there yet, still farming his Necro 3, and then a Stolen Roar as well. I think that's enough to burst anything, even with the Disruption Astral. And the other thing is, we have to keep our eyes on Mushi, who is not very farmed right now, but hey, if it goes late Sin, you get the double Hex, double Hammer, double Shivas, pain train for Mushi, and I don't think anything necessarily outcarries the OD late, assuming he gets off the combo. But we are a ways off from that. There's still a lot of farming to go.
If we assume this game enters like 60, 70, 80-minute territory, my money's on DK, because their late game is absolutely phenomenal. Shadow Demon, in my book, one of the best late game supports of all. Soul Catcher's great Demonic Purge as a BKB counter. You have Disruption for your own carries, etc. Make illusions, keep them alive. And then they have such a good split between heavy pure / magic damage in OD and heavy physical damage in Luna. So it's very hard to item build against DK's lineup, because you can't just say, okay, the OD is perhaps the farm-dependent hero that's countered the most by BKB, but That's great, but then you're going to get roared and killed by Luna instead, right? When she starts getting big physical damage, and always need to keep the Demonic Purge in mind against Voids to remove his mobility outside the Chronosphere, so... This is not even close to over yet. I'm actually starting to wonder if the lead IG managed to accumulate is going to be enough here.
Yeah, they're waiting on some key items here, though. The Chronosphere about to be upgraded with an Aghanim Scepter, 430, only 200 gold off of that, although, as I say that, tanks a Lucent Beam. DK not willing to go in just yet, but that along with the Necro 3 coming soon as the tower gets denied bottom. Nice play by Luo, and he'll back off. And yeah, I mean, the other thing is IG have that insane team fight. If they get the Chronosphere Chain Frost combo, you can disrupt one, but if there's 3 or 4 heroes caught there, you're going to lose a lot more regardless.
You can disrupt 2.
Yeah, and well, I imagine one of these heroes probably gets caught by the Chronosphere.
Yeah, hopefully for IG. That's
if they don't do that, they're probably losing the fight.
The ideal team fight for them is that they catch Shadow Demon and OD, and then any other optional heroes, and they start the fight, because then whoever they lock down on is actually going to get killed. And there's the axe, so now 60-second cooldown ultimate for a Ferrari. Where did that courier die?
It died to, I think it died to the Ice Boar, and it had a sentry ward on it. Yeah, that was a boar.
Excellent snipe squad. Casual 23-minute medallion. Coming out. He's still level 5. They don't have the ult. I can't believe this. I mean, MMY is generally regarded as one of the best support players in the world, and it's not like he's played a bad game. It's just strategically for DK it hasn't worked out, but how often do you see MMY not being level 6? Just, let's say, 15 minutes into the game. We're almost 25 in now. He's still short of it. It's kind of insane,
I guess for Mirana, like, at this point, MMY is just there for Moonlight Shadow and Arrow. You're not going to be a damage dealer. That's just out of the question. So, you know, just, I don't know. Maybe just max your Arrow at this point and hope for the best. We'll see. He's not very well.
I think he's getting Moonlight Shadow on level 6. It's still too good to not skill.
Oh, yeah, yeah. I mean, even over Starstar, he's got to make choices. As IG are taking a Roshan here, Arrow's going to come through it. It only connects on a creep, it looks like. Now the Chronosphere from 430. That's going to catch 2, and here comes the Chain Frost. Bouncing here, there, the defensive disruption, not enough. MMY still brought down on the low ground. Mushi trying to retreat, but 430. He'll find a courier. Does he want the courier, or does he want the kill? He goes for Mushi. Chuan cleans up the courier. It's just a courier massacre in game 1 of DK versus IG. The hammer deployed, simply not enough. Mushi will fall, and that's going to be just an absolute train wreck of a fight for DK. On top of that, 430 still has Aegis.
Yeah, that was 4 for 1, right? I think.
Yeah,
that
the
was
Shadow
4 for
Demon
1.
Mirana just instantly respawns, so you like barely even notice they've died in the fight.
I thought they bought back, but
no, they just respawn that fast,
no
man.
buybacks, right? Yeah, no buybacks. So 4 for 1, flat out. They get the Roche. Just everything about IG's game so far, their timing has just been perfect. They read the map movements of DK, they make the right decisions. Very clutch play on Roshan there. That was down to pretty much the second that they finished that off before DK came in, and immediately take advantage of the situation with a great chrono from Ferrari. And, well, we're starting to doubt whether it was going to be enough for IG. Now it looks like it is probably going to be enough.
Oh, I don't.
Out. He has Aegis though.
He does get hit by an arrow, but this Void's still very healthy. He has Chronosphere available if he wants. He can just use it and run away. If they can't burst him, he time walks out. Then he drops the defensive chrono and he will escape in the end. That was.
This is like every single pub game you play against a Void. It's
I
like
know.
60% backtrack.
That hero's just unkillable, man. It's not only
he blocked the arrow, he blocked a Lucent Beam.
Yeah.
And I don't know, so many other abilities there. That was just insane. He got pretty lucky to survive there.
Yeah, and
even though he's tanky, that was something extraordinary.
Yeah, and this is before he gets like if he goes BKB. It's not. There's still Purge and Roar, but I feel like just. This Void isn't really supposed to be a big damage dealer, so maybe he considers it anyway. But yeah, whether he does or not, I mean, we haven't even seen the Frost Armor maxed out yet. It's only level 1. 430 is a lot more tanking he can acquire as this game goes on. Yeah, IG they're feeling pretty comfortable right now, I would say. YYF picks up the BKB, and he's gone not for the Necro 3 build. We haven't seen him go for the Blink Hex or Blink 4 Staff into Hex that Bulldog's been favoring, but he's gone for just a little bit more of like a right-click damage dealer kind of profit.
It's interesting for me to see this BKB. That was not the choice I was expecting from YYF. It's what you would expect out of the Void, but generally Prophets in this position in the game want to split push hard or, you know, like you said, have the Necro book either for split push or for team fight, but YYF is expecting that with this BKB, he's going to be able to do some significant damage inside the fight. And the thing is, the only way he's going to die when he's in BKB is if Luna is wailing on him. I don't think there's any other way. Did I say wailing? Did I mean waning? Any one of those, whatever fits your vocabulary. Then it's going to be okay, but I don't know. Can DK even fight into this? Does it even matter what items YYF has?
Well, they don't have much of a choice here. It's 4:30. He's banging on the front door. He's got some backup here from Lil with the Necro 3. Ice marches in. He'll try and roar the Invoker, but the Chronosphere's thrown out. That's going to isolate Burning. Ice tossed back into the Chrono and into his untimely demise. 4:30 now. The roar stolen once again by Tron. Used against Burning. He'll be brought down. That's 2 dead. Then they're diving the fountain. 4:30. He does have Aegis here. He's trying to zone them out while they take racks. The range racks being focused down. No, some heroes hitting on the melee. A little bit indecisive from IG, but it looks like they're going to get both. Buyback from the Luna has been used, but to what end? She's got Eclipse, but there's too much stuff to tank the Eclipse. The Treants, the Necro Book, and in the end, IG, they take a very convincing first lane of racks, only 27 minutes in. We were talking about like a 60, 70-minute game perhaps happening, but yeah, that's not seeming like the case right now, Sin.
Well, it was kind of what DK were gonna need to end the game, I think. But for IG, with the lead they had early on and the potential of their lineup, they could definitely end it earlier. And we're just seeing right there, great execution again. This Chronosphere is doing so much work. I think for all of Ferrari's Chronos, you know, a lot of the time people are, when they're playing Faceless Void, both pros and amateurs alike are aiming for those, you know, 3 or 4 man Chronos, the huge play, as we speak of. Speaking of that, Burning's gonna get killed in the bot lane. But Ferrari just hits the right ones. It's not about hitting 3, 4, or 5 targets. He hits 1 or 2, but he always gets the right ones and the right initiation with faith behind him. And that's all it takes. They're doing a very good job at that. Arrow.
Oh, no. That's not good. They miss on the arrow. Even if it connects, I don't think they take this fight. But now they're in a lot of trouble. The Stolen Roar used once again on the Ice. They're going to fight 2, 3, and GG. DK just get run over by IG in game number 1. It's a best of 5, but IG were very convincing this game, Sin. They really didn't make many mistakes, if any.
Yeah, as far as the draft went, I think DK, they put a lot of emphasis on Shadow Demon and Nirvana succeeding, and since they didn't, their recovery plan wasn't really strong enough against what IG had. They got away with running triple Midas. The Prophet ends with 709. YYF just all over the place in this game. The Chronos were good. You see only 2 heroes on IG's side even died this